Hi, my name is Vinny Vasquez, and today I'm going to be teaching you about the art, the hobby of cigar smoking. This is great for anyone who wants to get into the hobby and wants to know a little more about it before getting started, or anyone who's not planning to get into it but just wants to know general information about the subject. So let's get started. Cigar smoking. Today I'm going to be teaching you about some pros and cons of smoking cigars, some terminology, choosing the right cigar, how to cut a cigar, how to light a cigar, and cigar do's and don'ts. Okay, so pros and cons of cigars. Some pros are is it is a very social hobby. If you have friends just like you that like cigars, it's very nice just to hang out outside and just light some cigars and just talk and just chill for a little bit. It's an exciting experience in trying different types of cigars. If you're into the hobby, then you're going to want to go out and just try different types of cigars, try different brands of cigars, different colors, and just to experience fully what there is out there. There's hundreds of cigars out there, so it's always great just to know different things about cigars and try different types. Another pro is that there's real tobacco, unlike cigarettes. Now there's an asterisk next to real tobacco because it also depends on where you get your cigar and who made your cigar. If you get your cigar from a tobacco shop or anywhere that has a humidor, then it's going to be a real cigar with real tobacco. If you get a cigar that's on a shelf like from Walmart or anything like that, then it's probably not going to be a real cigar and it's going to have chemicals in it like cigarettes. But of course I'll get more into that later. Some cons of smoking cigars that it can't be expensive. It's quite an expensive hobby. There's cigars that go from $4 all the way up to $80. So it depends on how much you're into the hobby, but it can get expensive. There is a health risk in smoking cigars. Many people think that because you actually don't inhale the smoke that you're not at risk for any diseases or anything like that. This is wrong. If you're smoking a cigar, the smoke is still going through your mouth, so you are at risk for any type of gum diseases or mouth cancers. And the smell. There's an asterisk on the smell because it depends who you are and who you're around. Some people don't mind the smell, some people do. So it's always great if the smell is going to bother you just to have a set of clothes that are going to be your cigar smoking clothes and just, rinse your mouth out with mouthwash after you're done. Some cigar terminology. There's many types of terminology when it comes to smoking cigars, but today I'm just going to be telling you some general terminology. So the body or barrel cigar is the middle part of the cigar. It's a part that's mainly going to be smoked. And then there's the band of the cigar, which is just a wrapper basically that's going to say the company who made the cigar, what type of cigar it is. And then there's the cap of the cigar. The cap of the cigar is basically the seal of the cigar with the tobacco leaf. You can't actually smoke the cigar until you cut off this cap. When somebody is talking about a draw of cigar, they're talking about when you puff a cigar. A draw is just when you put the cigar to your mouth, you puff it, and the smoke goes through the cigar to your mouth. Then the blend of a cigar is meaning that it's what type of tobacco there is in the cigar. When somebody is talking about a Churchill cigar, it's actually a nickname for a cigar that's pretty longer than 7 inches, and that's a pretty thick cigar, which was nicknamed after Winston Churchill himself, who liked thicker, longer cigars. A cutter or a punch are tools used to actually cut the cap off of the cigar. Without cutting the cap off the cigar, like I said, the cigar can't be smoked, so it's absolutely necessary to have these tools with you. When somebody's talking about a cigar that is handmade or machine made, it's pretty self-explanatory. Handmade means that someone actually hand rolled the cigars, and machine made means that a machine rolled the cigars. If you're buying a real cigar from a real tobacco shop or a cigar that's generally expensive, you're pretty much going to get a real handmade cigars. So choosing the right cigar. Of course, you have to be 18 or older to purchase a cigar and hopefully smoke a cigar. And you're mainly going to want to get a real cigar from a tobacco shop or a humidor. Like I said earlier, a humidor could be anything from a glass case at a store that's going to hold the cigars, or like the tobacco shops have actually humidor rooms it's basically a giant room that's sealed off. Now, when I say humidor, I'm talking about it can be a room, like I said, or a glass case that actually has a humidification device that puts the cigars at the right humidity, because if a cigar is left out on a shelf or anything and it gets dried out, it will be no good. So color. Generally, the rule of thumb is the darker the cigar, the stronger the flavor. So if you're a beginner cigar smoker, you're going to want to get a light brown cigar. And if you're an advanced cigar smoker, you're going to be wanting to go through the darker brown cigars. Sizes. Another rule of thumb when it comes to sizes is the longer the cigar, the cooler the smoke. So of course, if you're a beginner, you're going to want a longer cigar, because by the time that smoke gets to your mouth, it's going to be cool. You might not be used to the hot smoke. So if you're an advanced cigar smoker, you would generally go for a shorter cigar. Appearance. When choosing a cigar, you're going to make sure there's no bumps, the cigar is not too hard, because that means it can be dried out. There's no cracking, again, it could be dried out. It's not too dull, and there's solid veins running through it, because the cigar is actually a tobacco leaf itself that has tobacco in it. So you're going to want to make sure the leaf is good, that it's rolled in, and there's solid leaf veins going through it. So cutting and punching. Never bite a cigar. Regardless of what you may see on movies or anything like that, where there's people biting cigars, you are never supposed to bite a cigar. You're going to want to use a cigar cutter or a cigar puncher, which you would just use one solid cut or one solid punch at the cap to bust the seal on the cap, and therefore you can smoke the cigar. So lighting a cigar. Regardless of what you heard, never use a Bic or a Zippo lighter, or basically anything that uses lighter fluid to smoke a cigar. This will ruin the flavor, because the lighter fluid will actually get into the cigar through the flame and just ruin the cigar flavor, and you'll just have a nasty cigar. You're going to want to use a butane jet lighter or matches. It depends on who you are. There's people who just use jet lighters to smoke a cigar, and then there's people who just use matches, because some people believe that matches preserve the flavor. But either way, you're going to get the most out of your cigar using one or the other. Don't put your cigar directly over the flame like you would a cigarette. In order to smoke a cigar, you're going to want to gently roll the cigar over the top of the flame and puff, just to get a solid, nice ring around the cigar. And there's also a rule of thumb that the more flames to light a cigar, the better the cigar is. So some do's and don'ts. Don't try just one cigar. Like I said earlier, if you're into the hobby, do explore different types of cigars. There's hundreds of cigars out there, so you're just going to try them all out and see which one you like better. Even the ones you do like, you just want to keep trying other ones. Don't stomp or press out a cigar like you would a cigarette. You're just going to want to let the cigar down on an ashtray and just let it burn out on its own. Don't light the cigar again after you already put it out. There's some people that think that it's okay to light a cigar again after you put it out, but generally it's just going to taste nasty, and you're not going to want to probably smoke that type of cigar ever again, based on just that taste that you get after you light it back up. So you're going to want to smoke the whole cigar or chunk it. This is basically a good rule. Don't let your someone else light your cigar. That's considered not proper cigar etiquette. If somebody else lights your cigar, you're going to want to light your own cigar. Unless it's a woman, they're in the cigar etiquette, it's proper to light a woman's cigar every now and again. And then there's a do/don't leave your cigar band on the cigar. It depends who you're around and where you're actually at, because here in America it's actually okay to leave your cigar band on your cigar as you're smoking it, but in Europe and places around Europe, it's actually rude to leave your cigar band on the cigar while you're smoking it. They consider it as you wouldn't leave your tags on your clothes after you buy them, so why leave a cigar band on a cigar before you smoke it? So what did you learn today about the cigars? Today you learned about the pros and cons about cigars, the terms about some cigar terminology, how to choose the right cigar, how to cut a cigar, how to light a cigar, and some do's and don'ts for cigar smoking. So I'm going to end on one of my favorite cigar brands, the Edge Cigars. I'm going to end on one of their favorite quotes, which is, "Real smoker smoke sitting down." So I hope you learned some great cigar information today, and I hope you're actually going to go out and purchase a cigar now and just to experience the great hobby of cigar smoking. Thank you.